Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Hey, it's you! Come on in and join us!
We're going day drinking today, y'all, with First Line Shave.
It's a beautiful morning with the Barbershop Duet.
Hi, I'm Marcus Klinger with Klinger Vocal Studio.
And I'm Sarah Vincent with Sarah Vincent Virtual Pilates.
But on Wednesdays and Saturdays...
we are the Barbershop Duet!
Hey, y'all, come on in. Thank you for finding our little barbershop. If you happen to be here during one of the live premieres on YouTube, why? Come on in the live chat, meet the Whiff Pack, a cool group of friends hanging out from all over the world. They'd love to meet you, too.
They would, and for our mention today, I would like to talk about my new orange meteorite from Ollie-Works. Marcus got me this one for Christmas, and I chose the long handle. It's a little easier to shave my legs with, and he even got me the matching stand. Look at that!
Best anodizing I think I have seen yet in the wet shaving world. These are absolutely beautiful, and we are experimenting with switching out plates with my blue one and making our own colorways. This is fun. Thank you, Ollie-Works, and stay tuned for a review of their brushes and bowls that just came out this Christmas. And what is our soap today?
We finally get to see what Sutton Distilled is all about. Come along with us.
All right, y'all, from the sales page at firstlineshave.com.
Sutton Distilled is a beast of a flanker to our original Sutton. This is a relentless and unforgiving whiskey, cedar, and oud scent, just the way it should be.
Scent profile, whiskey, cedar, oud. Lavender, saffron, cardamom, blood orange, ambroxan, patchouli, cypriol. Y'all, who knows what this might smell like, but we want to thank Riley so much for sending it out for free to review, and I can't wait to take this one out of its box. Yeah, y'all, when we bought Autumnal Equinox, Riley asked if he could throw in a second soap for us to review, and this was the first one that jumped to mind because so many of the brothers and sisters speak of it in such reverent tones, and this is how they come packed. Oh, there's the label. Beautiful. And you know what this means? We have to cover Sutton in an episode soon, too.
Both of them have gotten wonderful feedback and requests from our Whip Pack, so I'm glad we finally get to get this one.
I'm actually excited to back into the original and start with the version that has a little bit of whiskey applied. Come along with us, y'all, for a first impression. Oh, indeed! I thought this might have been a collaboration with Joe from Black Mountain Shaving, and it is. All right, I am so excited to have you have your first impression. Yeah, let me know what you think.
I don't know how much I know my whiskey, but we'll see.
No, but you are a First Line Shave expert at this point, so that's why this is exciting.
Here's the pour for those who like to see.
Beautiful.
Wow, okay, this I would definitely use. Some of the other whiskey ones, I'm like, I don't know if I would use that, just because I don't really like the whiskey scent. The spices I like, but sometimes the whiskey takes over. This does not. This goes jumping into all of those other wonderful scents in there. It almost is just like opens the door with that little whiskey kind of spice, and then it dives right into the cedar and all of those other wonderful scent notes that you're reading, the more spices, the saffrons. It has this color to me, that kind of amber hue, and I gotta say, you can't get a long enough whiff. Like, it's one of those ones you start and you just want to keep taking a longer whiff. There's a lot to discover in the middle. Let me go back in.
Nice.
There's a lot of texture to the wood. I don't think it's quite smoky, but I think the oud is jumping in with the cedar to create almost that darker kind of like flame on the wood action, you know, that you can do. It just kind of has a little bit of that going on in there in the best kind of dapper way.
My folks used to take us up to Toasted Head Winery up in the Napa Valley. They used to actually toast the heads of the barrels that they would ferment the wine in.
That's kind of what I'm seeing. Like, it just has that little texture put on the wood. It's not just by itself.
Yeah, we went to wineries for fun growing up, you know, when you're 8.
I gotta say, if somebody walked by smelling this, though, I don't know if I would get whiskey right away. So the way, I mean, maybe when we lather it up, that might wake up a little bit more here, but I love how it's being used. The spices and the depth to it, kind of just in those amber, woody, brown kind of tones. I would totally wear this.
Now, some of the brethren out there who have tried Room 237 and love that whiskey in there might be wondering, is it similar?
I would not put them next to each other. Different shelf for me. I can see where they kind of dove off into different directions.
Right.
That is a different, more like keeping the post potency of the alcohol version in it.
Gotcha.
This dives into more of the depths and the spices. Like, I feel like hanging out here, you would just have that one glass sitting next to you, and you would just kind of slowly sip it as the night goes,
Right.
maybe the day. And you would just
237, Grady's just
Right.
going to keep giving
That's
you one
exactly
whiskey
it.
after another.
So
Am I right?
totally different sides of that experience. Like this, you just want to sit and savor the different layers and spices and things going on, and just kind of let that in your palate slowly. You want to savor what's happening in Sutton Distilled, where 237 is a different night.
It's more explosive. I was reading Misery for the first time.
Yeah.
And Annie Wilkes straight up busts out with, oh yeah, that guy I killed, he went out to the ruins of this Overlook Hotel, an old hotel that exploded about 10 years ago when the caretaker went crazy. I knew there was like a Stephen King multiverse, but I've only watched the movies of a few of these. I didn't realize how interwoven those stories were, and it kind of gave me chills.
There's something lighter and brighter in here that's really helping the depth of the scent come through. I think it might be like it's not a floral, maybe I think you read lavender. It's something like that. That's a cleaner side. Maybe even a little gentle citrus. Nothing gourmandy, but something that's really adding the different layers to this. So I see it getting a lighter, kind of brighter, ambery hue on top, but then there's something in the basement. I think it's the oud that's just helping you have that kind of floor to it so you can keep that whiff going up.
Right.
If you could do an amber scent,
Okay.
but with a whiskey and an oud as the top and bottom, somehow that's where my brain is going. Like, I don't even know that this is whiskey. I know it's in there, but my brain wouldn't pick that up first, and I'm kind of enjoying how that's creating a whole different type of scentscape.
Right. Now, while you can grind up amber and sort of get a scent from it, that's not what perfumers do. That's the perfumer's inspiration. So sometimes it's done with vanillas. Sometimes it's done with other things. I think in here, that sense of amber, if I sense it, might be being done with the saffron, maybe up against a little bit of that floral. Who knows?
But my brain doesn't go into the Baccarat Rouge kind of saffron. It's a different side. It's less that brighter kind of in your face version.
Right.
This is more in the background hanging out.
Interesting. And that's golden amber. Gray amber or ambergris is... Everybody knows this.
I feel like whoever is wearing this or shaving with this has a much more tame, calm perspective. Like they're stepping back to gain perspective,
right,
versus other people that jump into the bottle that do not want to gain any perspective. This is a totally different type of persona.
Right.
Like there's something about this that almost reminds me of somebody that would just sit and enjoy a cigar. Like there's just pausing, enjoying that time. So I feel like this is a wonderful scent to have during a whole shave, building the lather, kind of having that through. I understand why people are like, nope, I went ahead and got the EDP right away. There's just something that I don't think you'd want to say goodbye to the scent after your shave is done. You want to spend a little more time indulging in this. I have to say, this fits the weather that we're having today. It's super cold for us here in California. It was like below 40 when we woke up. We don't know what to do. Barely gonna hit 50 today. But this has a little chill factor, like almost like a fall into winter kind of depth. Like I would use that this time of year where it's cooler outside. Right. It doesn't have to be cold in the scent, but there's something about wanting to just be cozy while you smell this.
I just heard our friends in Michigan, where it's in the teens, making fun of us. Oh, Sean, too, up in Alberta. He was
we're not built for
laughing
that,
at us, calling the 40s cold.
I really am curious what Sutton smells like now after smelling this one, because this has a fun woodsy kind of layer to this. I feel like we need to learn backwards, like you were saying. It's kind of fun to start with this one, and then we'll go back to Sutton from here. All right, I think those are all the words I've got for now. I'm kind of curious what your nose finds.
I'm very curious what I'm going to get. All right, the shaking clam. Here we go. L'chaim. Oh, that's intriguing. And what a divergence from all of the first line or Black Mountains that we've had before.
It's a fun lane.
Well, those play so beautifully in the sweets. And y'all, look at me. I appreciate the sweets. They're rich, they're decadent, and I'm not even sure where they stop. This hits me with a very different, dapper, dry sense off the top. This does not go sweet. It goes wide. Okay, hold on. Now that that's out of the way, let me dive back in.
Right.
Oh, the sweets are up above. Where normally, especially with Black Mountain, the sweets are swirling around in the base. Here, they meet you in the tops. They open the door, and then they kind of go away and have coffee, and they let you discover the rest of this. Gotcha. Okay. Soapy, clean, morning, outside, cold. Whoa! Y'all, when you were like, it's different from 237, look at my face. It is different from 237. The lights in this are just inspiring. And I guess they're citrus, but they're being done in such a
Barely
clever,
citrus.
congenial way. It's just the sweetness of the citrus without any of that tartness in there. The only two in our entire collection that have a similar way of making those lights so rich are Doppelganger Oxblood from PAA and The Great Reset from Hoffman's Grooming. A very narrow lane, but a beautiful one. Wow.
This one's a little spicier between those two, but I can see why you're saying those.
I get a freshly pressed tweed suit that is so far from a green Irish hillside, it's not even funny. It's almost the inverse of a green Irish tweed. And you're right, I'm not really getting the whiskey in any way that I was expecting, and I love that, because for me, whiskey is a little linear. Once you've got it, you've got it. This, I'm not even done exploring the room. Yet there is so much here that I feel like whiskey would have taken over that conversation. Nope, you're right. This is just a sweaty glass on the bar in the corner, and the real star of this show is everything else going on. Somehow the woods, yeah. But those for me are equal to some of those lighter singers going on in here. So it's almost like in mixing music, you took a loud singer, turned him way down, took a very quiet singer, turned her way up, and put them next to each other at the same volume. That's the magic of this. Okay, hold on, because I'm going hunting for some oud next.
There you go.
And even before I would label it floral, I would label it creamy. Is there a sandalwood going on? There's not. There was just something beautifully creamy about this. Not like tonic, but creamy in a woody way.
Yeah, it must be how the spices are connecting with those lighter woods, maybe.
Yeah, if you could just pull the clean spices out of whiskey and leave the wheat sense behind, there's no wheat in this. And yep, you are absolutely right about the amber, and for me it's coming from the ambroxan. Sort of an ambergris. It's part of ambergris, but it's a cleaner part. It doesn't have the poopy part of the ambergris in there.
I'm getting what you're saying now. That's adding the texture for me, I think, whatever that one is.
Right. Okay, and I finally found the oudy part, but it's not smoke for me. I know this is going to sound weird. The oud in this is almost gourmand. If this had a gourmandy part of it, and I know patchouli used to be part of the original gourmand accords, this is giving me a little bit of a mouth-watering sense inside of that oud somehow. It's like the higher part of the spice of the oud, not the deeper part, the cleaner oud. And this accomplishes for me something really tricky. You know how when you walk through the lobby of the Four Seasons and the smell in there just makes you feel fabulous? That's an EDP that a perfumer has created to be the signature scent of the lobby for the Four Seasons, and they usually change it seasonally. This is the kind of thing where if a guy walked past you wearing this, you wouldn't get the sense that this was rose or brute or cedar or barbasol or anything like that. You would just get this very transparent idea that the guy who just walked past you is ultimately clean, a little bit spicy. I don't mean the scent, I mean the personality. Like, that's how this would be interpreted. And I think at the end of the day, somebody luxurious. This is absolutely somebody who takes his time doing his hair, who uses beautiful laundry detergent, and all of that is sort of evident when he walks past you. This is that magic ingredient.
I kind of feel like this is one of the most crowd-pleasing whiskeys we've had.
Oh,
usually there's kind of a
100%.
divide, and I'm like, I don't know if everyone will like this. I think even your kids sitting next to you smelling this would enjoy it. Like, there's just something warm and spicy and comforting about it.
And I know a lot of drinkers. I'm from a large German family, and I don't think 9 out of 10 of them would say that this was a whiskey-centered soap. But I think that's part of its magic. All right, y'all. Well, it's time to look at these scent notes and build you a lather. Come along with us. All right, y'all, back to the sales page at firstlineshave.com. Well, we start with whiskey, but I think we have already had a meeting and decided that whiskey needs to go at the end of this list.
Or cut it in half, like the only of like put the beginning brighter sides bring you in, and the other half of whiskey goes at the end.
Right, and then cedar, beautiful, peppery. How are you getting it in there?
It's adding a cleanliness to this in a way that I wasn't expecting. So it's not completely the lighter side of cedar. It's not like you're walking down the aisle at Home Depot or anything, but there's just something clean and a little more dapper coming through because of the cedar.
Right. And it keeps it lighter for me when it comes to the woods. And I think it's kind of inspiring. They chose not to put an oak in this. They used cedar instead. And then the oud. Have we had this conversation? How are you getting the oud in there?
To me, that's as dark as it goes. There's just something like, almost if I could look at the bar at this place, it's a darker wood, like a peak action. Like, to me, it's that side of the oud. It doesn't go too smoky. It just adds a little charness look to the wood.
She's right. It's a tiki oud. And then here's where things get really interesting. Lavender. Look at my face. It is absolutely in here, but it's doing beguiling things in its accords and the way that it's bringing the other senses out.
I think the lavender then jumps into the saffron, and it's kind of rounding out the edges where sometimes saffron can be a little bossy. Here, it's kind of just used sparingly. Like, it really is an expensive spice, but the way that it's used here, it's kind of just adding a little sparkle. Like, you know, when you look at whiskey in a cup, like kind of where the light hits it, they're just kind of adding that little perspective shift. So it's cleaning it up, it's adding a little more character, and then that jumps into the cardamom. So those spices almost could jump into the oud. They also could jump into the cedar. They also could jump in the whiskey. So, like, they're all balancing together in a really good kind of level here.
And something about the cardamom, saffron, and lavender are what make me think of a tweed jacket, a brand new one, freshly pressed.
Here's the citrus, a blood orange. So that makes sense why it's a little smoother and it's not as bright of a citrus, but it's still there. It's just adding the lights are turning up here.
And adds a little sweetness without needing to add a ton of tartness. There's just enough there to let you know it's a citrus, but then it stops. There's nothing muddled or tangy in the middle of this. And then the outskirts of ambergris, ambroxan. That's what's bringing in that quality of amber to this and making it a morning scent for me.
But then putting the patchouli right next to it, it's keeping in that cleaner kind of gently herby side.
Right.
And then we have cypriol as our last little whiff.
Cypriol smells deeply woody, earthy, and smoky with rich, leathery, and spicy undertones often compared to vetiver or patchouli. Well, there you go. And for me, this is a very light, bright, clean patchouli. It's not San Francisco State in the 1990s patchouli. That was very different.
It even says here, with a unique, slightly nutty and papyrus-like freshness. That kind of is the lighter, cleaner side that we were saying was almost coming off as creamy. I think that's where it's coming from.
That's why it makes me think of a library. And we thought these would pair fabulous today. This is my Grizzly Bay brush, a gift from Sarah John. Made it for my 50th birthday. Is that not a fabulous brush?
And then this is one of our custom barbershop bowls that Monica Evangeline made us.
All right, y'all. I'm just going to take that much soap and place it into the honeycomb pattern on the side of this Vanillé bowl and hit it with a little water from our bougie sprayer. Now, our first goal is to transfer the soap up onto the bristles. Well, aren't you going to soak that brush? No, because Craig at Opus Brush won't let us. He said it only takes about 30 seconds for bristles to absorb water anyway. Just start building your lather. We do what Craig says. Now, this bowl is helpful because it holds on to the soap very tightly. So it does take a little bit of time and friction to start pulling it up onto your animal bristles. You know what's crazy? I'm kind of getting a sense of powder off of this in a very White Diamonds 1990s kind of way.
I think I got a little bit more of the whiskey hit now that you've added a little water. That part woke up just a little bit more.
Well, you do want to add a little bit of water to your whiskey, don't you?
Those are kind of how they listed it, was whiskey, cedar, and oud.
Right.
So it makes sense that those are the parts that are a little more prominent after we add a little water.
Woo! Start with the florals now and then dive down into the scent. Is that wild?
There you go. It's a little more dapper too, I think.
I not only love how subtle the whiskey is in here, but I'm fascinated by it because it almost makes you want to discover it more than if it had been truly the spine. Yep. And as long as we're talking about distilleries, this is something you will only find here in the Barbershop Duet. This is the BJ Honeycutt whiff. On 3, 1, 2. They had a still. Oh, that's way different. Why is that so much sweeter?
Yeah, I got like a honey vibe going on in there. The amber thing.
Wait, the florals woke up 100 times more in this? Wild. This is so different.
Well, now I feel like we got to get the splash. If this is much of a change between these two, what would that one be?
And did you see? The Shave Arcade published their first video in a while. Angelo did an outdoor shave with Choco Caliente.
He's braver than we are.
Acres. Oh, man, I was cold just watching that. No, we don't do shaving here in the Barbershop Duet, but we thought you might like to see how this beautiful lather coats and covers. And this is an animal fiber brush, y'all. They're known for being a little stingy with the lather. Not here. Not here. Although here on the show, when we use cold water to build the lather, it does make these gel tips feel a little bit like dead caterpillars.
Oh, great. Let me try those.
Yeah, put them on your face.
Yeah, I can't actually really tell that it is more of an animal fiber, though, right away.
Well, it's last call, y'all, so let's take this down a little bit deeper and see if there's one or two last little secrets to discover. You know, I do sense a tiny amount of that perfumer's base from Black Mountain Shaving, but not a lot. It is very much a divergence from any of the other scents I've smelled from Joe.
There's kind of like a brightness turned up here, I think, in the lather. I know why you said, you're like, why am I getting it so clean? But there's, I don't want to say it's an effervescence, but there's something that's just got a little extra sparkle turned up.
Cedar. That's the cedar for me.
I do like how this really rides that whiskey line in a good way. Like, it's really crowd pleasing somehow. It doesn't go too much in that alcoholic kind of hit where sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'll like that. So I'm glad that we got this anyways. Even me being a little nervous, I actually would use this a lot more than I thought I would.
And in just trying to figure out a lane for y'all of what this is at its core, I think my beloved wife here nailed it. I think this is an amber scent. And I think that's why we've got that beautiful color on the label. And if you think about putting whiskey with amber, that's going to be a precarious mix. The whiskey would take that over big time unless it was used sparingly, as whiskey probably should always be. That is the magic in this for me. The whiskey isn't enough to take the golden hue out of that morning sun.
Yeah, it just kind of made that color more attractive somehow with the other saffrons and ambroxan and things that are in it. Even the oud kind of just puts it in a nice little cast that it really smells good.
And I love that the sweets are light. That lavender is the sweetest thing in here. And I think that's a fabulous divergence from the rest of their line and an interesting way to discover some of those other nooks and crannies going on in here.
Yeah, now I'm trying to smell for that blood orange, and it really does have a wonderful character in here. I wouldn't pick it out. I wouldn't know that it's in there necessarily, but whatever it's doing in the middle is really adding a little extra charm in a wonderful way.
It's subtle. It's subtle. So it's pretty easy, y'all. Just be Sutton. After a long day of work, not really wanting to go home, maybe you'll head down to the local tavern and meet a few of your friends, have a few whiskeys, get yourself pretty distilled, and get your own. So head over to firstlineshave.com to find this and a ton of other cool stuff. Well, I've had my shave, y'all, with Sutton Distilled, and you know what's amazing? I still have to hunt for the whiskey in this, because that's not what it is for me. I don't really get it. I get the sense of a clean, put together, well-balanced guy who is literally magic. There is something about this that speaks to a P.T. Barnum or a Harry Blackstone. Something intriguing, dark, rich, but friendly, safe, and there to make you happy. And what a lather. I was doing the ingredients for our placard. I think the only difference between the 3.1 and the Wagyu base is that the tallow is Wagyu tallow. Other than that, it's the same formula, and I absolutely adore it. Riley, Joe, thank you for this, and we will be back soon. You like my green sweatshirt? I'm wearing this because of today's giveaway. Welcome to Messages.
So for our January giveaway, we wanted to give you a chance to get $25 to Sterling Soap Company.
Yeah, y'all, and all you have to do to be eligible for this giveaway is send us an email here to WeSentYou@theBarbershopDuet.com so we can get back to you. It's the only way we communicate about our giveaways. And then check back here on our first February episode to see if you are our lucky winner.
Best of luck.
One of the scales we have slowly been bringing back is the complexity scale. 8.5, 9. Simple notes, but put together with a complexity that you rarely see in the wet shaving world or the frag world.
Yeah.
I think absolutely beautiful, rich, and they said this word on the sales page, mysterious. That's what I love about this. It's not like, oh yeah, I got cedar, I got oud, I can see what you did there. No. You walk in and you are in this brand new place, feeling good, clean, put together, well-dressed. I'll say it. And then you get to try to figure out how they did it like a magic trick.
Right.
That's why I love Black Mountain Shaving and Riley's work at First Line Shave.
I think it's just intriguing overall. Like, I'm very curious if we didn't know what it was called and you just took a whiff of it, I still feel like you would just be as intrigued trying to figure out all the layers and different things that are going on in here.
Recording studio.
I'm with you.
The cedar on the walls. I mean, some are really upscale.
Right.
That.
But I almost get like that it's darker in there, like kind of it is
Yes,
more basement
right.
level, and you've
Right.
got all the lights closed off
There's no
because you're
windows to
recording.
the recording
Right.
studio.
So I totally get how that works.
What this is where they recorded Achy Breaky Heart.
But it's cleaner inside. It's not grungy. That's not what's making it dark. It's somehow it's part of the character.
And a little whiskey for after the
you
recording
go.
session for the engineer.
Makes
'Cause he needs it.
All right, y'all. We need to try and see if we can get Sutton or see if that's going to be coming
Yeah,
back because I
right.
don't see it on the page. So
I'll
we're
write
going to have
Riley.
to investigate.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll find out.
Thank you so much, Riley, for sending this out for free for us to review. We have enjoyed getting to know this new friend. Whiffpack, let us know if there's any other from First Line Shave we have been missing out on so we can add it to our 2026 schedule. Don't forget your next appointment with the Barbershop Duet.
You will smell better just watching this.